Hello, everybody. Good afternoon and welcome to another live at the Waterhole. Where first up, we're in the Greater Kruger Park and the Olifants River. And as the name suggests, well, we've got some elephants. My name is Ralph Kirsten, and what does the bush hold in store for us today? Well, you'll have to sit back, relax, and watch as the animals come down and quench their thirst and cool off. And as per usual, please don't forget that this is a live and interactive experience, so we'd love for you to jump on board with us and send us through your questions and your comments. You can do that by going on the WildEarth website and registering. You can also join the conversation on X, formerly known as Twitter, using the hashtag WildEarth. What is it? Bush wise, animal wise, wildlife related, whatever it might be, please send it through. Like a couple of bulls, just enjoying their time here next to the lovely coolness of the river. Looks like the sun is out, but I think there might be some clouds around. Having said that, I think it's time we go and have a look what the weather's going to be like across all the different locations. So it looks like a typical hot summer's day across the board. It's only Tembe, that's below 30, and that does go well for us. Normally, a lot of animals then will come down to the different water holes. The top elephant there, just enjoying a bit of a dust bath. And the bottom one here, still getting wet. I always find this particular spot very calming and relaxing. I think it's because of the river. All right, so lovely start here at the Great Kruger Park, but it is feeding time at the Vulture restaurant, so I think let's head up to Vic Falls. Looks like a lot of the vultures have already come in, but they're still waiting for their food. A very brave guide that's going to walk in there. I think he doesn't value his fingers very much because as soon as he comes out with that box full of meat, these guys are going to absolutely attack him. So white-backed vultures and hooded vultures I see for now. Here he comes, the moment of truth. See, I think he just tries to separate them a little bit, just to try and prevent any injuries, but there they go. Absolute chaos. It's an vulture soup. Crazy stuff. Oh, there's the Undertaker, just trying to get in the mix. The old marabou stalk. Finds it a bit tough, I think, because of his long legs. He's not as close to the ground. Seems like he may have gotten something. And Bill from Myrtle Beach says, good morning, all from my side of the rock, watching while getting ready for work. Good morning to you, Bill. Lovely to have you on board once again. And Calvin F saying, yay, it's Moggy Monday. Yep, well, what a way to start the week, watching the wildlife from across Africa. And Joanne Mello saying, this is awesome, Ralph. What can I say, Joanne? It is it's incredible to watch this. And it's normally pretty short-lived, so we always have a very good time with them, but once they've finished up the meat, they start to disperse quite quickly. And always quite a bit of squabbling between them as well. There is nothing orderly about it whatsoever. Yeah, they sort of put their wings out just a little bit and then jump around, almost quite intimidating, I think, or trying to be at least. So Alexis asking, are vultures very common there? There are so many of them. Yeah, they are quite common, Alexis, but you know, they are indeed under threat. And we've chatted about this in the last couple of days since we've started watching them around the farm activity, and you know, there's a lot of poisoning that goes on. Especially from dictoflan, which is an anti-inflammatory that the farmers, you know, give to their livestock. And if any of the livestock die and the vultures feed on them, they die. It's poisonous to them. So, and it's also from poachers that, you know, when they kill an animal and there's a carcass, they also poison it because the vultures sort of give away their location, with them all coming down to the carcass. So they try to get rid of them. And so there have been so many vultures poisoned. And so this is just one of those sort of helping hands. It doesn't, it's just a supplement to help them. They don't really, you know, they still need to carry on their normal activity because it wouldn't be enough to sustain them. So just a little bit of a helping hand. I would say it's a little bit like the soup kitchen.
If you are a driven nature enthusiast with a background in communications, then this message is for you. WildEarth is calling for volunteers to moderate our web and social media chat platforms during our live broadcast. Do you keep up with the latest trends on social media? Do you have quick fingers and a sharp eye? Then we're looking for you. To apply, email your CV to us at jobs@wildearth.tv. Join the WildEarth team today. WildEarth, connecting with nature.
So Pierre Dubois saying, hi everyone, never seen so many vultures. It is quite an impressive sight, isn't it? And a lovely vulture restaurant. And Livy saying, good day, Ralph. Wow, I love it. Zim Dutch saying, how much can they eat daily? Zim Dutch, well, I think it's quite a difficult one to actually work out. I will check out on BirdLife International. But I've seen, animals of over 100 kilograms, a carcass, the likes of a zebra, being stripped by vultures. But I mean, it's similar numbers to this within a few hours. And all of them having very full crops. But I'd like to also just find out the exact amount that they potentially could consume on a daily basis. So I think that's a good question, and I'll get back to you on that one. So it seems like there's a bit of sketchy information, but it looks like up to about a kilo of meat. I think each vulture will differ in terms of the size. So the whiteback vultures maybe up to and around about a kilogram or so. But the hooded vultures, obviously having much smaller crop would probably and smaller bodies, would probably consume maybe half of that, or 600 grams or so, and that would be a very cool, full crop indeed. But it seems like now the feeding is subsiding, so I think we'll change of place and let's go to the Madikwe Game Reserve and African Tau. Where another elephant has made its way down to the waterhole. I think it may already have had a drink. Now it's thinking about leaving. Sounds like there might be some more here, just behind this acacia. The chilia now, with all the weaver nests. Nice bit of wind around, helping to at least keep things a bit cooler than normal. I'm pretty sure there's another bull there, and they're just pushing and shoving each other. That's what it looks like to me. Bit of the good old argy-bargy, like we used to have at school when there was a fight. We used to say, meet me behind the woodwork center. I think that's what they're doing here. So while these guys carry on their little fight, I think we'll have a little zoom around and see what else we can find, just in case we're not missing something else. We don't have that peripheral view that we would normally have if we were there in person. And sometimes we do concentrate on one thing and then we pan to the side, and there's all sorts going on that we've been missing. And I think the area still really needs some rain, so I hope it's still coming. There's some of our resident waterfowl, the old moorhens, blacksmith lapwings, red-knobbed coots, keep an eye out for the crocodiles. No, there's some piggies, Swede family, warthogs. Always fun to watch at the Waterhole and their antics. They're rolling around in the mud and then going for a scratch. There's a grey heron on the left. What else we got? A little bit quiet there in the background. Oh, there's a bull waterbuck. Looks like some zebra in the background. Egyptian goose. So a little bit quiet for now. So maybe we'll head back towards the naughty fighting elephant bulls. Doesn't seem to be anything serious for now. It's just more of, if you could say it, like having an arm wrestle. Oh, here we go. Looks like the fight may be done. Somebody wrestle at least. He's going to come get stuck in the mud here. But engage Difflock. I think he's thinking about coming and have a nice feed on this lovely lush grass in the waterhole itself. So Livy was asking, how much does a baby elephant weigh at birth? And Livy, it's around about 100 kilos. So it can be 90, it can be 110, but averaged out around about 100 kilograms, which is incredible. That's at birth. After a gestation period of around about 22 months, so nearly 2 years. Normally a single calf, but there have been twins before. And those babies are also capable of walking within an hour after birth. And I've actually witnessed a couple of elephants being born. And the one that I remember the most was a desert elephant high up in the Huab River in Damaraland. And it was only us. We managed to find it. Well, I managed to find the desert elephants after 3 days tracking them. And it was one female that was busy giving birth as we got there. Absolutely incredible. And we stayed with them for longer than an hour, and the baby was already up and walking. which was amazing to see. And then we left them alone. So greetings coming from Jin Lin. Bush greetings straight back at you, Jin Lin. Lovely to have you on board.
Oh, how time flies when you're having fun. Daylight saving time for the US and Europe has arrived. The 10th of March will see the US shift an hour forward, and the 31st of March will see Europe and the UK also shift an hour forward. Stay connected to nature from wherever you are in the world. Go to our website to find out more. Don't miss a moment with WildEarth.
What a magnificent beast. Well, it seems like he's really indecisive. Can't make up his mind. No, there's the other individual now. Aha. So here's another one coming onto the scene. Maybe That one that was indecisive was being a bit of a bully, and now this one looks like he's a little bit more dominant. You see the one on the right's being a bit submissive, backing up, not quite sure. This one very confident. It's made its way in now. Maybe they're just making sure that they all know where they stand. And just quietly having a drink. So Mr. Indecisive looks like he's just decided to have a dust bath. And a warthog just quietly moving behind that dust bathing elephant. I think that might have been a hammerkop. He came past the camera a moment ago, and I thought it was one. And just by the way it was flying, I think it was. So, as we can expect when it's nice and hot, like it seems like it is going to be and is today, we're going to expect lots of elephants at the different water holes. So, that is wonderful. And with that being said, I think it's time we change of place now and let's head to the KwaZulu-Natal province and Tembe Elephant Park. Where there's more elephants. enjoying themselves in the mud. This individual kicking the mud about, probably soiling it up nicely so that it sticks to the skin a bit better. With Mommy, I think it's Mommy, hanging a chunk over the little one. That one elephant on the left seems like it's lost a tusk. There's a grey heron and a woolly neck stork. So even though it seems like Tembe is probably the coolest temperature-wise of all the different locations today, we must remember that this is a very humid part of the country as well. So even though the temperature is a little bit lower, I can guarantee it's probably the spot, maybe with Kenya at Old Donyo, with the highest humidity. So the animals still do feel it, and anything over 30 can be extremely hot, coupled with that humidity. Another elephant arriving. And you see that elephant with the one tusk. It was as that new one was approaching, it was very still, and its one leg just raised in a sort of pensive stand. And Jive Bunny saying, loving the flapping ears. Yeah, and that's also what I was actually alluding to, speaking about the humidity, because it does seem temperature-wise the coolest spot. But the elephants obviously are still feeling the heat. That's why they're here having a mud bath, trying to cool off a bit. Flapping ears and wagging tails.
Better is more than a word to us. It's a commitment to conserve our nation's precious landscapes, oceans, and wildlife. It's more sustainable fishing and farming practices, jobs and prosperity for our communities, and access to clean drinking water for all. Better is believing that together we can make a difference. For nature and for you.
So there's a bird there doing a very special thing to the left of that marabou stalk on the left. It's a little night heron, but he's doing a very special kind of hunting method there. And we'll see him do it again. He makes shade with his wings and then confuses the fish and will attack from there. And that would be a little black heron with this kind of hunting technique. So they say that there he goes. And what they call that is, or the method of hunting like that is called canopy feeding. They use their wings like an umbrella, creating shade that then attracts fish. And sometimes he'll stay longer like that, and other times it's just very quick. But this technique was actually documented on BBC's The Life of Birds. There we go, getting in a little bit closer. Here come the marabou stalks to interrupt his canopy feeding. But going closer to those grass there, maybe you'll have better luck. There he goes. I think he was blown off his canopy there. He tried, but I think the wind just got in under his wings. It's been a long time since I've seen a black heron, and lovely to be able to get this on the show as well. First time for me, but I have seen them doing this on many occasions, but obviously to catch it on camera is always special. There he goes. Let's see if he has any luck. Nope. Once again. So this is what you would say is a specialist fisherman and got really special tactics and techniques for catching its prey. So, like with a lot of birds that are black, they often do show this blue color, and it's obviously an optical illusion. We're not actually seeing blue. We're seeing black. It's just the way that the light is reflecting off of that black, making us think that it's blue. But this is a black heron, and you can see it's actually inbreeding plumage with those tassels coming down from the head and nape. When it does extend its neck, you'll see them. The wind blows them to the side. Here we go. I'm seeing it from a different angle. Doesn't seem to be having any luck though. He's just moved off to the right now, and I think headed towards where the marabou stalks were. So just bear with us. Sorry, just waiting for the camera to respond. But you can see how hot it is with all these heat waves coming off the ground. All right, so sorry about that, folks. The camera wasn't responding, so we've just jumped on back to Madikwe and Tower Lodge. But if we get that one going again, we'll go and have a look again. I'm sure I'd like to see a bit more of that black heron hunting, and I'm sure there's lots of viewers that would like to do so as well. And here we've got a couple of our teals that are resident, it seems, here at the Tower Lodge. No, it's not. It's yellow-billed ducks. Obviously the telltale yellow bill. Not very active are the little ducks. And I'm just trying to work out if there's a little drizzle happening here. It does seem so, but sometimes that can be misleading, and it's just little bubbles and insects and all sorts on the water surface. But I think there might be a little bit of rain about. Well, you can only hope, hey? The area really does need some rain, so I'm hoping for it. A couple of little butterflies flitting about. Seems to be a brown veined white, that one. So the yellow-billed duck is also a dabbling duck, and those are all the ducks that sort of forage just underwater, and also resident breeders here in southern and eastern Africa. So they don't migrate. They do wander a little bit in the dry season between, water sources, but very gregarious and normally moving in quite big groups as well.
Experience captivating wildlife documentaries showcasing incredible animal behavior for free by visiting lionmountain.tv or downloading the app, accessible on both Apple and Android platforms.
Wow, there's a beautiful butterfly on the opposite bank. It's brown and very well camouflaged until it opens its wings, and then it's very bright orange. It seems almost red. And it's been a while since we've seen the crocodiles. They've been relatively inactive. I wonder what they're up to. But difficult to see, very well camouflaged, and unless they're moving around, you can't see them. So Gwyn saying, director, that there was one out earlier today, but it made its way back into the water. So at least we know they're still here, but they're hiding from us. So just while we look around and see what else is about, WildEarth is now on WhatsApp, and that means that if you download the WhatsApp app from your favorite app store and subscribe to our channel, you'll receive show updates, special offers, promos, and so much more. So get down onto the WhatsApp channel of WildEarth. So Momo437 wants to know what classifies a bird as a duck. It's a very good question, because we get ducks, geese, what's the difference and what makes a duck a duck? And the word duck actually comes from Old English deuce, I believe, which means diver. And it's a derivative of the verb ducan, to duck, bend down low as if to get under something, or dive. because of the way many species in the dabbling duck group feed by upending, compared with the Dutch daken and German tauchen, to dive. But ducks, or any number of tiny, short-necked, large-billed water species, and the legs of real ducks, those belonging to the Anatinae subfamily of the waterfowl family, are positioned backwards, as in swans, rather than front, as in geese. And so as a result, they've got a unique waddling gait. And that's what puts them into the different groups between geese and ducks. Now, an Egyptian goose is a little bit almost in between. It's not quite a duck and it's not quite a goose. And because it's got a similar foot structure as a goose, which are more positioned forward to the front, but they're actually closer related to the shell ducks. Now, they also say that ducks quack and geese honk as another way of telling between them as well. So that's why you'll often hear quite a few safarians and people that watch regularly or go out on safari quite a lot. They'll refer to the Egyptian geese chicks as gucklings because they're neither goslings nor ducklings. So gucklings, somewhere in between. They're almost the hyenas of the bird world, because, especially spotted hyenas, but being somewhere in between dogs and cats, looking more like dogs, but being closer to cats, which is quite interesting as well. A few more. Zebra and wildebeest come through. It's going to come for a drink. So it definitely is overcast. There's patches of sun. So it may well have been spitting, a little bit of rain, a bit of a drizzle, not too long ago. And most of the animals, bar the elephants, really prefer to drink around over there. And there is a kuru bull just off on the left. So a lovely calm scene here. and always nice spending time at the Tau Lodge. But I think let's change of place, let's change of country as well. Let's head to Kenya and Old Donyo. Always impressive at this spot when the big elephants come in for a drink, especially with perspective and this very low angle camera. Just look at the tusks on this guy. The Maasai giraffe waiting patiently behind. Just hear that skin and how rough it is as they rub past each other. And yesterday we actually got the best view of Mount Kilimanjaro in the background. We were actually able to see a portion of the snow-capped peak. Oh, there was a little pin-tailed wide-eyed that just landed in on the left. He's gone down for a drink.
Experience captivating wildlife documentaries showcasing incredible animal behavior for free by visiting lionmountain.tv or downloading the app, accessible on both Apple and Android platforms.
And there's a number of the Maasai giraffes there just waiting off underneath that Machilia tortilis, the umbrella thorn on the right-hand side. They seem to like that spot. I think he might be reacting to the noise of this helicopter. You see the trunk went up. I think he probably doesn't quite know what that is and being a little bit nervous towards it. Lovely side profile on this individual now. And you can see, I would guess that this elephant is left tusked. You see quite a bit more wear on that left tusk than on this right one, probably as a result of using it more. So elephants can be classified as left or right tusked, which one they use more. And seems like he may even have chipped it a bit as well. And Bundu Bash saying that this is spectacular. It is indeed, Bundu Bash. Always lovely having these elephants here at Old Donyo. Such wise, majestic souls, aren't they? So Damien was asking and saying that I've heard elephants hate small drones, and some filmmakers tell me the bigger drones are fine because it doesn't sound like a swarm of bees. But surely, if they react to a helicopter, this isn't true. Is it maybe they associate the helicopter with being darted? Yes, potentially, Damien. And if an elephant's ever experienced a darting, incident, they'll never forget it, and they'll always have an adverse sort of reaction to that sound when they hear it. Um, and I would say that with any kind of filming from drones, regardless of size, if there's any reaction from the animal towards the drone flying, I think then you need to either go higher or leave the animal alone completely. Because that's the sort of ultimate thing for us, out in the bush. Definitely don't want to have any kind of impact on the animals in any way whatsoever if we can help it. And I think with the use of drones, especially when elephants have experienced darting, I think it's really ethical to try and keep it just like that and not have any impact on the animals whatsoever. So, I mean, filming an elephant that's irritated with a drone, I think, would be terrible, and not the way to go about things, not very ethical at all. So, yeah, I just hope that the filmmaking is done with that in mind, and I'm sure it is. Yeah, it goes along the same lines. There was an incident in the last couple of years with a training institution for guides, and it was near to the Kruger. But I worked as a head instructor at that exact same camp, and there's a lot of activity that has gone on with the herds of elephant on that particular game reserve. And they also partook in the vasectomies. It was a sponsored event that came through from Disney in America, and the veterinary teams from there, where they were piloting this vasectomy method as a way to control the numbers of elephants. So it was a wonderful concept. However, there was a lot of activity with the elephants, and there is a lot sort of activity around the elephants on that particular reserve. And I think there was a big build-up of this and anger and resentment from the elephants towards humans. And I think eventually one of the bulls cracked. And two vehicles were following an elephant bull, and he turned around and charged them. And right at the last minute, I think the guide made an he didn't want to, but I think he made a slight mistake in just turning the vehicle towards the elephant as it started charging. And this is, a guiding technique that we often just put the vehicle off the road in case there's any other vehicles coming. And I think he did it subconsciously. And it wasn't his fault because of this built-up anger, I'm pretty sure. And the elephant actually flipped the vehicle over. Luckily, nobody was hurt, and they were all the students were able to get out and go and jump in the vehicle behind. And the elephant left after that, but he had obviously showed his true anger. And this is a kind of activity that can build up with elephants, and eventually they do snap. And I wouldn't say that that's a problem animal in any way whatsoever. It's just, as I say, they're highly intelligent, and they do remember, and they can have resentment as well. And I'm sure that that's what that incident was all about. But luckily, everybody came off very well. I think in the end, I think there was sort of a lot of talking about it with the students, and obviously it also landed on social media, etc. But you've always got to look at the bigger picture and the backstory of these elephants, because it all builds up, and then they can have these negative reactions towards humans, and it's not just on the particular moment. That has been coming for some while, and that's exactly what happened there.
We've got a refreshing splash of entertainment this March. Africam is surfacing with a new show. Join us every morning and submerge yourself in nature's ambience. Watch it live and transport yourself to the finest watering holes across Africa. WildEarth, connecting with nature.
So the guy with the bigger tusks, he seems a little bit similar to that other elephant that we had at Tau. A little bit indecisive, doesn't quite know what he wants to do. are the conversations of these old, wise elephant bulls. If only we could understand them. Lots of little birds just buzzing in, also coming in for a drink. And there's a dove, and I think a couple of little finches as well. So Janine, VDB, I assume it's something like Van der Bijl, or Van Bouillon. No, that wouldn't be correct. Anyway, Janine VDB, where is the line in filmmaking in terms of animal stress? Is it worth putting them through that for the good of telling their stories and raising awareness about their issues? Yeah, I suppose there is a fine line, Janine, and that's what we always try to do with guiding as well. You've always also got to sort of come back to the adage, if it pays, it stays. So, if we're not going to hunt them, which brings in a lot of money, then we want to bring tourists in who pay a lot of money. We always want to just try and have as little impact as possible, because going out there, no matter what we do, we're going to have an impact. But how big is it? And are we having a negative impact is the question. So for me, a negative impact would be changing the course of what the animals were going to do in the first place by your presence. So whether that's by vehicle, by foot, so it's unavoidable sometimes. You drive around, animals get out the way of the vehicle. You walk on foot, the animals smell you, they run away. I think just trying your best, and that's why it's good to go with experienced guides who know how to have as little impact as possible. Walking into the wind and sticking to the brush and avoiding big open plains so that the animals see you, smell you, and then everything changes. Because they run off and their natural sort of daily routine is interrupted. And I think the same then with drones. Is there a negative impact, and how can you minimize it as far as possible? And so for me, that would be the elephants being distressed by the drone and changing their habits, or what they would normally have done. So if you want to bring in a drone here and suddenly the elephants flick their ears aggressively, like that one did towards the helicopter, immediately then I would say that you're disturbing them, and you would need to fly higher so that they can't hear it anymore. And I mean, these things can fly very high and still get very good shots. So I would say that's where the line is. When you start having a negative impact on the activity of the animals that you're busy filming, that's when I think you should back off. But like vehicles as well, and with people on foot, sometimes it does take for the animals to have that thing around them for them to calm down and realize that it's not a threat. So drones are pretty new in the wilderness sphere. So maybe it will just take some time and they'll start calming down around it. But in the meantime, let's just try and keep the impact to a minimum, by allowing them to realize that even though they can hear that faint noise, it's not posing any threat, and eventually they'll calm with it, and you can maybe then approach a little bit closer. So I think it's patience from the filmmakers and the drone pilots, that they can't be in a rush, because then they're going to disturb the animals and I think then cross the line. So I think that's where it needs to be maintained. So Zim Dutch saying this is sheer magnificent, and this is why I miss Africa. Yeah, it is absolutely stunning, isn't it, Zim Dutch? And I'm assuming you're potentially from Zimbabwe, living in Holland. Taking a wild guess from your handle.
This is On Safari. Now remember, this is live and interactive, so we'd love to hear from you.
To be having these incredible experiences in this wild underwater forest.
It was just one of those things which I don't think I'll ever see again in my life.
Thanks for joining us on our Sunrise Safari.
Yeah, come on, giraffe, gang up on these guys. I'm sure you can push them off if you really want to. Wow, and there's been a lot of giraffe here pretty much every day. But under that tree, there's a number of them there, and if they all came here together, I think it would be maybe the most that we've seen all together. So this bull here, he did shake his head a little bit in disgust once more. I don't know if it was with the other bull leaving or these Maasai giraffe coming in seemingly for a drink. So the red-billed oxpeckers just came in for a drink, and now they're flying back towards the giraffe. I think they got impatient, normally coming through when the giraffe come down. But they've been waiting for the elephants to move off. I think that finally is it from these two elephant bulls. Now's your chance. Giraffe, get stuck in. Eight of them currently there, but I think there's quite a few more still around. So over 10. Looks like a little bit of argy-bargy going on between them as well. And so obviously the bulls starting to look like they want to do a bit of necking. Maybe they're not interested in drinking after all. I think with the weight, they've now started fighting with each other and doing all sorts, but not drinking. All right, these giraffe taking a little bit too long, I think, to come down to the water. So let's change of place. Let's go back to Madikwe and Africa Tau. Where it looks like the zebra and the wildebeest have moved off, but they've been replaced by a nice herd of impala. Very often, this time of the day is probably when there's the least amount of activity from the animals, taking their time to rest up for the night ahead. And there's going to be lots more activity, and they need to be on their toes for predators as well. So Janine VDB asking, what will be the key changes in these animals' lives in the area as the seasons change? So Janine, obviously all the animals are different, but in general, as the seasons change, especially in these parts, it's a little bit different in Kenya, where they do have a bit more evergreen plants with it being a bit more tropical. Depends on the location. And that contrasts to the likes of Namibia, which is really desert. It's a rainy season now. So a lot of the animals, let's start with Namibia on the dry side. During the rainy season, they disperse because there's water availability everywhere, and they don't need to concentrate around the water holes. So they really, split up and disperse across the whole of Etosha. And a lot of the elephants and giraffe move to the east because that's where the rain first arrives. So as soon as they start smelling that, they move in that direction, and then there's good growth of vegetation there already. So they then sort of hang around in that area. Once it starts getting drier again, then they move back into the western side of the reserve. and then start concentrating once again around the water holes as the puddles and the water availability starts becoming less. And so then as we go across into the savannas, it's a similar story, and you've got a lot of deciduous trees, so it's seasonal, and they lose their leaves in winter. So the animals obviously have less food, they have less water, and they then start concentrating around the water holes and sort of almost migrating between the feeding areas where they have a good feed and where the water is. Whereas when it's raining, they generally don't need to move far from the water because there's food available all around. So I would say that's the biggest change across the board. Um, and then with Impala, for instance, obviously they have a set breeding season, and we'll be moving into not too long when we go into the rutting season. As the days sort of get past a particular point, they're shortening. This triggers an increase in testosterone in the males, and then they start fighting. After which they will then, the females will come into estrus, and the dominant males will start mating with them. And then 6 months later, they'll obviously be dropping their calves. As that normally, not always, but normally coincides with the rainy season once again. And then we sort of move through the lambing season with all those animals that do have a set breeding season. It's normally coincided with the rains to drop the lambs, but the rutting season normally also coincides with the shortening of days, and then that triggers an increase in testosterone. So all the animals obviously are dependent on the resources and the availability, and everybody's looking for food and water. So they've just come out of a period of of more availability, and they're going to be going into a period of less availability and more concentrations around water points. That's why we generally say for tourists the best time to go on safari is normally when it's in the dry season, if it's purely about the iconic animals, the game species, as well as predators and elephants, etc., because everybody's concentrated around the water. If you want to go birding, birding is obviously better in summer and actually during the rainy season. That's when all the migratory birds have returned. And so that's better. And you also obviously get a lot of the flowers and everything's fruiting and all that. So it's a beautiful time to come as well. But the set real safari season, more so in the dry periods, and that's normally in winter. And that's when we have our high season, across the board as well.
Out in the wild, life moves fast. To capture the action, you've got to be in the right spot at the wrong time. Now, incredible animal behavior, selected from amazing amateur and professional footage, to reveal the secret lives of animals in motion. This is raw nature, caught in the act.
So it looks like it might be heating up a little bit, not in temperature, but in this little fight between these two rams. And that's what they'll often do, is try to pin the other one down to the ground. It doesn't happen regularly, but it can happen that they actually get locked together. I've actually seen it occur more so with springbok, and they literally can't get undone. And then they are easily taken out by predators after that. It's not so common with impala, but it has happened. And there they go at each other again. And slowly heading towards the end of the show. I hope you've all enjoyed it and had a relaxing time watching the wonderful images of Africa. But don't go anywhere, because there will be the sunset safari coming to your screens. So the naturalists will be out and about and seeing what they can find for you. And as always, we hope for predators and lots of action. I wonder who they will find today. Seems like they have been doing pretty well in the last little while. So you never do know what they're going to be able to find and who's going to show up. As the zebra now show up at the Waterhole at Tau. The beautiful black and white stripes of the Birchall's zebra. So we do hope that you'll join us again tomorrow for another live at the Waterhole. Who knows what's going to happen with us too at all these wonderful different locations that we broadcast from. As that one zebra just got a kick in the jaw. Doesn't seem too perturbed. Well, that's it from me, folks. Salagahle, bush greetings. Cheers for now.
Good afternoon everybody. Welcome here to Djuma Private Game Reserve in the northern Sabi Sand. My name is Steve, I'm joined by Panda, and this is On Safari. Hello everybody. Just having a little moment with the honey badger. Such a wonderful creature, the honey badger. The skull case of this individual, it's just remarkable. Hello everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful afternoon. Happy new week, a happy first full week of March. Welcome to this 24-hour highlights reel of what's been happening over the last 24 hours, and it has been action-packed. I'm not going to lie. Now, as always, please do send through your questions or comments through to either Twitter, #WildEarth, throw it in the YouTube chat stream, or the app or website. We'd love to hear from you. Now, yesterday evening, we had quite a lot of fun. I spent time with Unkuhuma Pride, and, well, it's been a long time coming. Hello, lions. Now, Cedric will be joining us shortly, and Eric is down in Amakala. I believe there might be a little bit of rain there, so we'll see how they progress. And she is so polite. She always moves away from the rest of the pride to go and have her poo. Others will just poo right there on their neighbors, on their sisters, on their friends. I mean, I've never quite understood it. But I think she's having a little bit of a difficult one. And she did it in such a spot that we also wouldn't drive there. Good girl. Oh my goodness. Kimberly Lopez tells me this is Amber Eye's daughter. I am so out of touch with this pride. Amber Eyes is no longer. Oh, I'll spare a thought. One by one, they'll slowly start getting ready to move. We're hoping anyway. Now, one of our colleagues was here and he said one of these lionesses got a huge gash in their chest. They were messing around with a herd of buffalo yesterday. Okay, well, let's see. Where are you going to come to? You're going to plop down in the middle there. There's a spot. No? I'm going to go use the ladies' room first. Oh, there's a spot. Well, everyone, there's absolutely nothing I can do vehicle-wise now. We are practically ensconced by the pride of lions and Nkuhumas, if you're just joining us. My favourite pride of lion. Kelly, I am so lucky. I am so super lucky. Yeah, that's the bench of the car. They are right here. Well, what can we do, Panda? What is there to do exactly? Just chilling with my cats. What a treat. What a treat indeed. Panda, how fun was that? Now, it's not always that much fun to spend the whole afternoon with the sleeping pride of lions. It's definitely not something I can do every single day, but I haven't seen this pride of lion properly in quite some time, and well, that was very, very special. Very, very special. Wendy, Amazon, afternoon everybody, afternoon. So that pride started off in the thickets behind us there. We had this little angle to view them at. And then Amber Eyes' daughter came out first, and such a lady she is. She defecated in the bush, and then another one came and defecated in the same spot. Then another two came behind us and defecated together at the same place. And then one by one, they all came and lined up in a row in front of us, which was just remarkable. I mean, there's nothing we could really do. So it was more than just watching sleeping cats. We were intimately surrounded by them. And I don't know, there's something quite special about being so close to nature's fiercest, or potentially fiercest, and the Nkuhuma pride nonetheless. So cheetahs and other things, this is such a wonderful clip. Well, being with them yesterday afternoon was so special, and it's nice to be able to condense it into a short clip like that, because there also was an enormous amount of absolutely nothing that happened, and I suppose Panda only got about 10% of the toilet breaks that took place there, and bearing in mind there were 10 of them, so we did very well not to capture all of them. Gary 70, I love the bit right at the end where the one was teasing his sister, hitting on the head. Shame it ended there. We'll try to be better next time, Gary, to get all of that action, but they were starting to get a little bit playful. We even had a running bet going yesterday about when the lions were going to get up. Most people got it very wrong. As we were leaving at 31 minutes past, they all started doing their thing, and probably by about 40 minutes past 6, the lions are up and at 'em. It's just the way it goes. This is a live game drive safari, and these animals do whatever it is that they want to do. Isn't that right, Panda? Was that special for you? It was. Okay, well, before we get too in depth with the lion pride, do send through your questions. We're going to jump over to the next clip, which I think is Eric in Amakhala. Oh. We do have technical bugs every now and again. Okay, clip number 2. Here we go. Technical.
Here we have another big creature. This is one of our big rhinos. He's massive, decent size. Look at that belly He's got a very big belly, I must say. It's probably about 10 centimeters off the floor. No, maybe more, probably about 20, 25. But he is a monster. I'm gonna wait till he turns. Oh, please turn for us, big boy. I want to see how big your head is, because it's huge. And I think this is the one that's got the chip in his head from fighting too much with another rhino. He's also fairly muddy. He's been in one of the mud baths doing a bit of mud rolling. But now this weather, this rain we are receiving, not rain, this drizzle may, well, if there's enough of it, it could actually wash all that mud